I got every workout from 1983 until 1997. Every single workout, every rep, every set. Preparation notes for Mr. Olympia and all these things. This worked, this didn't work. So very analytical, writing everything, analyzing, studying.
His training diary was his life, and that was him. He knew if he followed X, it would equal Y, and that's what's been proven.
He totally believed what he was doing was right. He had no doubts. That's half the battle. If you believe in something, you can make it happen.
Blood and guts is just to the level where no one's willing to go. I mean, that's what it's about. Turn the body inside out, no matter what it takes. He wasn't going to stop. He was a train.
I'm not a morning person.
Dedicated to being passionate about it.
Bodybuilders have become more lazy.
People have always thought I lift fake weights.
Iran and the United States.
You take responsibility for that.
What do you think about the new school of bodybuilders? Like, for example, Nick Walker. I think he's going to be like, he's the rising star already, but I think he's going to dominate soon. What do you think about guys like Nick, Walker, Hunter,
or even
Hunter Labrada?
Even Labrada? Yeah,
Hunter Labrada, right?
No, their gains are incredible. I watched, especially Labrada. I knew him when he was just a little boy with Lee when Lee would come to Gold's Venice. I mean, it's just amazing. I used to question, like, wow, why would Lee want to get his kid into this sport? Because number one, to go to the Opens these days, it wasn't like, Labrada, where you could take second at the Olympia at his size, no matter how, incredible you were with detail and we're talking about posing. It's just not really going to be, realistic. And of course, his kid has genetics for size too. Unlike Lee, he was just a little bit different body type, but he's still very symmetrical. But man, the gains that they're making and the quality is just amazing. I think once they nail their protocol at a show, as far as, the last few days, last week or so, getting ready for a show, it's going to be amazing. Because I like them a lot. They look a lot better, maybe a month or so before the competition. Getting ready for competition on stage is like, wow, if you would have just put color on, just cut a little bit of water and went in, like, on some of his YouTube stuff, he'd do way better. So I think, getting more experience on the stage too is going to help. But yeah, the improvements they're making is good. And hopefully with social media, we're getting a bigger pool of bodies in, that maybe would have did something else. But it's not like there's anything special that happened, any new drug or any new training technique or food or anything that's changing it. I think there's just more people getting into it. So you have a bigger gene pool coming in.
Mm-hmm.
But I like it.
What is the biggest advice you would give to a men's classic physique competitor in 2021, specifically right now, currently? What's the number one advice you would give to somebody who's either getting into the division or already competing in it?
I would say just make sure, with the COVID and everything, things are very unsure. Keep your fitness. Just keep that and try to do as much as you can consistently, because life could be very inconsistent right now. But also don't forget your relationships, because it's about everyday life too. It's one thing to get ready for a show and be on stage, but you have to be happy. Because if your life is not happy, when you look back at your career, you're looking back at your whole life that affects it, not just how you looked on stage or that. I look back on my career and I look like, hey, all the different times of how pleasant it was and all the people I met and stuff, and make sure I wouldn't look back and say, oh, I did great at that show. But that whole year, my life was a mess. My finances was terrible. My relationships was terrible, because it's all about memories and experience. And so I want to tell them to really put your fitness first and just get consistent with it. Just do the minimum so you keep progressing, at least not sliding backwards, staying the same or progressing. But make sure you really get your infrastructure. Just like war, when you go into battle, you want to make sure your infrastructure is very strong. United States is not going to go against, China or Russia against a war if we're really weak. That's the worst time to go to war. make sure you have your infrastructure strong, your relationships, your work, your finances coming in, so you don't have to stress, because it's just going to make you that much better improvement. Because if you go in half-ass and you go into the show, well, you just kind of did that show in a way not your full capacity, and you're putting all that stress in your body with your hormones and food and spending that money and not doing as well as you should. You're better off just working, taking that energy, putting in your infrastructure to build that strong base, and then hit a show maybe even the next year. Then you're actually going to save yourself. Because for me, your body's like a car. I could have a Ferrari that's a 98 Diablo, and then I could have a new Ferrari now. But I'm the new Ferrari, I'm just grinding the gears. I'm going uphill. I'm just like really abusing the engine, and barely driving, and really keeping maintenance on the older Ferrari. Well, guess which Ferrari is going to last longer? Which is going to perform better? So that's really what it is. So every time you do a show, ask yourself, because that show is going to really wear on your body, because you really have to make sacrifices on it. So why are you going to put the mileage on your body if you're really not going to do well? So really, you got to make sure you have that, what they say, return on your investment. So be mindful of getting ready for shows. If it's not something you can really have a strong infrastructure and do it right, you should maybe wait, save yourself.